living longer, living healthier, living better than ever before. Welcome to Mountain Pacific's Healthy Living for Life, a weekly series that gives you the information, education, and expert insight you need to become an active participant in today's ever-changing healthcare climate. Here now is today's program host.
We all know exercise and eating right help keep our bodies healthy and in shape, but did you know the brain ages with the rest of our bodies and needs a fitness routine too? Welcome to Healthy Living for Life, a show dedicated to helping you do just that. I'm Janet Whitmoyer, your host. Today we'll talk about brain health matters and how to help keep your brain young and in good shape. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Our brains change with age, and that means our mental function changes too. Here to talk about cognitive health this morning is Dr. Nanette Dowling. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start off by talking about cognitive health and really what does that mean?
So cognition really is the mental action of how we acquire knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and our senses. It's really a complex array of functions and processes. Includes everything from how we acquire new information, how we remember what we already know, how we use language to communicate, how we make decisions, how we perceive the world around us. It's really a comprehensive term. And when this is functioning well, all cogs are functioning well, we get this exquisite symphony of the human brain, otherwise known as cognitive health.
Okay, so when brains are aging as we get older, what effect does that have on a person's mental health?
So in terms of mental health, that the brain is aging, we see significant changes over time. There's also tremendous variability.
Okay.
We can see changes in the chemical messengers in the brain. So things like serotonin, norepinephrine, dopamine, many of the chemical messengers, but also some structural changes. We can see some thinning of the margins in the brain, and this can affect our mood, obviously our overall cognitive function, the performance measures. We can see change in attention and memory over time.
Okay, so is this what you would call the term cognitive decline?
It's often referred to as cognitive decline, and there's much debate about that.
Okay.
What's normal aging versus decline?
Right.
Decline is really the process we're talking about. But I try to be careful here. I prefer to use cognitive change.
Okay.
Because there are also some things that we can see improvement in as we age. For example, the wisdom effect.
Oh, that's great.
or the calming effect. It's not all doom and gloom.
Okay.
We see some changes, like I said, in memory and attention and overall processing speed. But again, variability is the norm here. No two people age in the same way.
Okay. And so this might be an obvious question, but how is your brain health linked to your mental well-being?
So they're inextricably linked.
Okay.
The brain health, if everything is functioning very, very well, the chemical messengers, everything is working in that beautiful symphony, things are going well. But when we start to see toxic effects or a sum of problems within our cognition or the overall structure of the brain, it can affect our mood, it can affect anxiety levels, how we process information, and it also starts to affect our physical health.
Okay, I was going to ask you, how does it affect not only our mental health, but our overall general well-being?
So the overall general well-being, and this is what I like to call a bidirectional influence.
Okay.
If you have chronic illnesses, things like diabetes or chronic pulmonary conditions, hypertension, those can affect our cognitive function as well. We can see degeneration in some of the conditions. We can start to see increased problems with memory and overall executive function.
So what would you how would you describe the difference between cognitive decline and cognitive impairment?
That's a great question. Cognitive decline really is a generic term, also referred to as maybe normal aging, whereas cognitive impairment really speaks to the degree or the severity of the symptoms. Okay. So if you are having difficulty with short-term memory, with word finding, with maybe processing speeds, it becomes difficult to manage your daily life. Okay. So cognitive impairment is also separate from what we know as like a major neurocognitive disorder such as dementia. Mm-hmm. And the way we differentiate between the two is usually severity of symptoms. Cognitive impairment is sometimes reversible. So the key to well-being and health is that we want to detect these changes early, so that we can modify behaviors wherever possible, make sure that a thorough evaluation is done to get an accurate diagnosis. Okay. I mentioned that it's not all doom and gloom. Many habits and things we can do in our life to improve our health can affect our cognitive health.
Okay. So what would you say is the greatest risk factor for cognitive decline and impairment?
Greatest risk factor is age.
Age, okay. So how would you know, and I have time just for maybe one more question, how would you know if memory issues go beyond what would be considered normal aging and normal decline? So
going beyond normal aging and decline, I really encourage people to talk with their physicians, their providers, at any time there's concern as an individual, or if you're a family member who's noticing changes. When it starts to affect your ability to function day to day, if you are excessively worried about it, if you are asking maybe the same questions over and over again, getting lost on your typical routes while driving, or it seems like it's really getting harder to find your words. These are some of the common signs, but really ask early.
Okay, great advice. I think we're going to pause here and take a break, but coming up next, there are ways for you to help your brain health and slow down decline and even prevent impairment. Coming up next, we'll give you our top 10 list showing slowing down the aging process with your brain. Stay tuned.